On today's segment of Herb Vernacular TV, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi took her time to fly out to Taiwan, which drew condemnation from the communist nation of China because China feels like Taiwan is historically a part of China. In current 2022 context, Taiwan is an autonomous nation free of its own foreign policy and independence, which China dislike because China feel like Taiwan is a part of China. Those conversations can be said within Ukraine as well. Russia feel like Ukraine is a part of Russia. Great power competition in this current time has surpassed everything. From the Asia Pacific to Russia and Ukraine relationship with NATO. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Prior to Ms. Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan, China had a military exercise, bustering, to show you that this is my backyard. Telling the U.S. this is my backyard. Bustering is military prowess. Great power competition has surpassed the war on terrorism. But as Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan, China now feel like it must show its power. China cut out relationship, military cooperation with the United States, and cut out climate change initiative with the United States, showing the United States its power because China is in condemnation of House Speaker visiting Taiwan because China wished to annex Taiwan back to its control, like Russia did with certain parts of Ukraine, with the Crimea Peninsula and the other two regions that Russia have annexed. Great power competition is very important in this time. There is already a war brewing. There is already an international war brewing. This war is being fought on the level of sanctions, sabotaging each other's economy. The war is already being fought, but it's not yet to be fought in the hot theater of war. But Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan this week. We draw condemnation from China because China in the future wish to annex Taiwan as it see fit. You know, the region of the Asia Pacific, China feel like a whole parts of the South China Sea belongs to China. And the U.S. and its allies in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, they all feels like those area of water passageways does not belong to China. It is said that those waterways have so much resources, oil and gas. So that's why these great power competition is at hand. You know, the U.S. got to be a part of that to protect its ally in South Korea, in Japan, in Taiwan. So great power competition within this international contest is taking place. You see that going on in Ukraine, with Russia and Ukraine, and the relationship between Russia, Ukraine, and NATO. Politics drift and swift. WNBA superstar Britney Garner was sentenced to 9 years in prison in Russia. Back in March, she was caught at the airport with some Haddish oil, some VIP paint. Now she is sentenced to 9 years in the Russia prison system. This is all politics. Russia annexed parts of Ukraine. Russia is at war with Ukraine. So the U.S., the European is sanctioning Russia, removing Russia from the international monetary system. Pressuring Russia on all aspects. Russia is standing its ground because Russia feel like Ukraine is historically a part of Russia, the former Soviet territory. Same context to China. China feel like Taiwan is a part of China. But Britney Garner was sentenced to 9 years in prison. We draw which draw, condemnation from the U.S. media and athletes around the world, saying that was a hard punishment for Miss Garner. But we have to realize Russia is an ultra-conservative society. We have to take in context to these people and their way of governance. But Britney Garner is going to be used as a political tool. We heard that, they were going to exchange Britney Garner for the merchant of death, some Russia armed dealer who was selling arms all over the black market. They were going to exchange Britney Garner for that individual. Russia telling the United States stop negotiating in public. Britney Garner is a tool. She's a tool. But we must understand, if you go to our enemy states like North Korea, you go to Iran, you go to Russia, these countries are very ultra-conservative. Little things will land you in jail for a long time. So within the U.S., we in the U.S., it's a whole different ballgame. But great power competition is taking its place all over. Within Russia, within Europe, the spheres of influence. The United States, Russia, China. The dynamic of the international system is changing. Everything is changing within the context of international politics. You see Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan, China shooting up missiles, letting you know that this is my territory. Russia annexing on parts of a sovereign nation. Great power competition. The goal for great power to spread, find resources, new markets, different trade routes, controlling different waterways. All these are taking place within the context of great power competition within the international system. This is Vernacular TV.